Roger Nichols, Keysight's 6G program manager, joins us now to share insights into Keysight's plans for its 5G private networks and 6G roadmap. So welcome, Roger. It's super great to have you with us here at Keysight World Innovate. So tell us, what technology challenges arise with 5G private networks?
Well, the private and public 5G networks use the same technology, but the technical challenges are driven by use models. And there can be significant complexity in deploying a solution that meets specific customer requirements. If a factory wishes to use the novel use model of a private 5G network for intercommunications and logistics and production, it needs to figure out how to ensure latency and reliability of the connections will maintain the workflow and, more critically, to ensure safety.
And as we look to 6G, what new challenges do you anticipate?
Well, 6G is a huge topic, but if we focus only on the private network facet of 6G, the new challenges are going to be driven by a much larger set of use cases with much more variety. And those challenges include use of spectrum, coverage, latency, and even greater coexistence issues with other radio systems and frequency bands. 6G means a fully programmable network, and it will require even more sophisticated management of compute and radio resources to hold to any necessary key performance indicators.
At Keysight, we help engineers from the initial design stages, from modeling and software through the end stage of standards compliance. So how is Keysight planning to enable private network growth and support the transition to 6G?
Well, the private networks can come in the guise of anything from an independent, fully owned physical network to a private virtual slice of even a commercial public network. And what Keysight provides test solutions that facilitate private network infrastructure creation, implementation, and operation across all stages of the network lifecycle. So we help engineers validate the network performance in demanding and novel use cases where the stakes are higher than for typical smartphone use. And those stakes being like safety, like the flow of revenue, and maybe port logistics. Those are just examples. So we also help engineers model the new systems, simulate the behaviors under different stress, and then measure and troubleshoot the actual network.
Wow, a lot to think of. Roger, can you discuss some of the design and test needs in this space and how they will evolve, and then how Keysight must evolve with them?
Well, maybe one of the most significant changes is being driven by the new era of systems simulation, which we call digital twins. Now, simulation tools have existed since before I was in college, but given the level of sophistication in computing and communications, a digital twin has become a much better term than simulation.
And how will these digital twins be used?
Well, the designs will be validated using digital twins, from components to circuits to systems to the network itself and to even networks of networks and complicated systems. The challenge is to simulate the real system and the environment as an accurate and detailed proxy for the real-world implementation. Now, the next step is then to realize that entire system, and sometimes piecemeal, so that the digital twin evolves with added hardware in the loop and becomes a hybrid simulation and emulation. And then the last step is the continued evolution of that realized system, which would benefit from its digital twin such that the evolution or line extension could be validated before implementation in software and hardware, and then before expensive real-world trials are run.
What does that mean for 6G?
Well, among other things, 6G will benefit from the more pervasive use of artificial intelligence, which we expect to evolve into an increasingly useful and trustworthy tool. And we are very excited about this evolution and are engaged with the leaders in the industry to help make it happen.
That is very exciting. Thanks for walking us through all of that, Roger, and thank you for showing us how a leading company like Keysight is responding to and advancing the cellular market's evolution. Fantastic.